discussed in last class. We have discussed about the budget map, that is budget line, as well as the IC curve. So what is IC curve? IC curve is, that is the indifference curve, is the shows the different level of the satisfaction of the utilities derived from by the consumer. That is the indifference curve. So, and in the budget line, what we have discussed? Budget line means what? Budget line shows the consumer's ability to pay his income. That is called as the budget line. Next, we'll move to the next one, that is the topic optimum choice of the consumer. Here, in this optimum choice of the consumer, which is the equilibrium point that we want to find out with the help of the budget line as well as with the help of the IC curve. Now, question arises, what is meant by the consumer's equilibrium or the optimum choice of the consumer? Here, consumer's equilibrium means it is a situation in which a consumer gets maximum satisfaction with no intention to change it. It is a point where the consumer is getting the maximum satisfaction with no intention to change it and subjected to the given prices as well as his income. That is, it is subjected to his income as well as the prices are given. How he is with the given income as well as the prices, how he is making the, that is the equilibrium that we are going to study in consumer's equilibrium. Now, to explain this, what are the conditions which are required for the consumer's equilibrium? First condition which is required for the consumer's optimum choice is MRS, marginal rate of substitution between the two goods, is equal to the price ratio of the two goods. Means what? Marginal rate of substitution of X and Y is equal to the price ratio, that is price ratio Px is divided by Py, price ratio. So MRS of X and Y is equal to the price ratio, that is price of X and price of Y. Second condition which is required for the optimal choice of the consumer is, that is at the point of optimal choice, IC must be convex to the origin. That is already we are discussing the features, and this at the point of optimal choice, IC curve must be the convex to the origin. It means what it shows, that is the marginal rate of substitution is diminishing, that is it is decreasing. So with these two conditions, that is the optimal choice of the consumer is explained. Now, what are the assumptions on which this optimal choice of the consumer is explained? Assumptions are, for example, first one is income of the consumer is given and this income remains the same. Then second one is consumer is a rational, that is consumer try to maximize his satisfaction with the given income. Third one is consumer is aware of the IC map, that is he know about the IC map. What is IC map? What are the different features? He know about the IC map. Next one is all goods are divisible as well as the visible one. So this is about what? That is the assumptions of the optimal choice. Next, the same statement can be explained with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, we have taken on OX axis commodity X is measured, on Y axis we are measuring the commodity Y. Now, AB is a budget line. AB is called representing the budget line, which represents given level of the income of the consumer. It is representing the given level of the income of the consumer. Here there are three different IC curves are there: IC1, IC2 as well as the IC3. Here I had showing 3 points on the different IC curves. What are those? First one is C point, and here it is F, and here it is a G, E as well as the H. Which one is the optimal point? Which one is the equilibrium, consumer's equilibrium, that we have to find out now. So here, whether point C is optimal choice of the consumer? No. Why it is not the optimal choice of the consumer? At this point C, it is consumer income is not fully used. Why it is not fully used? That is budget line is AB. It lies below the budget line, means income is not fully utilized. Not only that, it is on the lower IC curve. That is it is on the lower IC curve. So it is not called as the optimal choice of the consumer. Next, point F as well as the point G is also not the optimal choice of the consumer, because it is also, though it is on the budget line, but it lies on the lower IC curve. If the same consumer move from F to E and G to E, where his cost is equal to the E point, and E point, this E point is, this E point is on higher IC curve, that is it is on the higher IC curve, that is IC2. So at this higher IC2, this IC E point is tangent to the budget line. It is a tangent to the budget line and it lies on the higher IC curve, point E. And one more point is that is H point. H point is beyond his capacity. That is H point maybe gives more satisfaction to the consumer, but it is not attainable by the consumer because it is above his capacity, above his income. So this is also not the optimal choice of the consumer. Then which one is the optimal choice of the consumer? That is point E is called as the optimal choice of the consumer because it is on the higher IC and it is tangent to the what? IC curve. At this point, E point, consumer is consuming OM of the commodity X and ON of the commodity Y. Not only this, at this point E, the slope of the IC curve is equal to the budget line, that is AB. Slope of the IC curve, that is IC2, is equal to the slope of the budget line. Means what? That is here at this point the first condition is fulfilled. That is marginal rate of substitution of X. That is X is equal to the price ratio. Price ratio of what? That is price of X as well as the price of the Y. At this point, that is the first condition is fulfilled. Therefore, at point E is called as, this point is called as the optimal point, where marginal rate of substitution of X and Y is equal to the price of X as well as the price of the Y. This is called as the consumer's equilibrium point, and this question is for the 4 marks. Thank you.